Castrol India on our radar on the back of their third quarter CY18 numbers. They were a little below estimates. Higher crude prices were the ones that impacted the company's margins. Volume growth too came in low single digits. The stock at the lower end of today's trading range. We have the CFO with us, Ms. Rashmi Joshi. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining in. If you could tell us a little about the margins, 24.5% lowest in the last 2 years at least since I think the first quarter of FY17 or CY17. Where do you see the margins from here? Crude has come off its highs and we have seen some stability in the currency too.
Okay, first of all, good morning and thanks for having us on the show. Before we speak about numbers, let me just say that our focus on strategy of volume growth is working. This is for consecutive 11 quarters. Now we have seen volume growth, except for the GST quarter. And the business is running very well. With across segment, we've got faster than market volume growth. So when you say low single digit, lubricants market is growing between 2 to 4%. Yeah, so 4% volume growth we believe is at a higher end of that. And year-to-date volume growth has been 6%, which is again above market, which I think is a great outcome considering the year where we have had a cost of goods increase of 116 crores because of forex depreciation and higher crude, and we put in 3 price increases. So we are continuing to grow volumes despite all this in all categories. So personal mobility is growing, which is a strategic thrust area. Commercial vehicles oil volumes have shown robust growth. Industrial volumes are also now showing growth. So I think we are very pleased with the outcomes on the volume side. On the margin side, as I said, we have put in 3 price increases during the year. So total cost of goods increase was 115 crores in first 9 months. We have recovered 80% of that. So if you look at unit gross profit, we have almost held our unit gross profit levels at last year's level, almost, slightly lower.
Right.
And I think that's a very good outcome again. We have continued to invest in brands. We have launched many new products in last 12 months, which have contributed to 90% of the volume growth that we have seen. And Power One was our latest launch in synthetics category. So overall, if you ask me, I'm happy with the results. Looking at the way the strategic drivers are working, or the strategic milestones have been achieved.
Okay, all right. Ms. Joshi, we get that. Thanks so much for detailing those numbers. I was looking through a couple of brokerage notes as well, and they were reiterating that Castrol is focusing on volumes. By the end of this year, what kind of a volume number for the year you should end up with? And also margins, they have been steadily coming in lower. Obviously, input cost has gone up. So what kind of a margin trajectory can we work with? Because Brent crude prices have cooled off a tad bit from the top. So some benefit could be seen in the next quarter?
Sure. So while I'll not focus on the quarter because we do not give now guidance on numbers, what I'll talk about is the long-term growth. So let's first say volume. So we are targeting long-term volume growth of 5 to 6%. We are targeting to maintain margins, and we are saying we'll have profitable volume growth. So Q3 margins are lower because Q3 the forex depreciation was steep. It was not so much the base oil. Base oil was higher, but forex depreciation was much steeper than that, and that impacted our cost of goods and hence margin. We have already put in a price increase in September, the result of which you will see in this quarter and going forward. That will help us improve margins. So, if forex doesn't depreciate further and base oil remains range bound, there's no reason for us to, reduce margins. So I'm very hopeful of continuing to grow volumes and hold margins at a reasonably good level.
If you
now,
could
24.5% you spoke about.
Right. Ms. Joshi, I just wanted to take that point forward. We're running a little tight on time. You said you're taking a price hike in September.
Sure.
What was the tune of that price hike? If you could quantify that, and also 24.5%, that's where margin should base out, right? Given the moves they have seen both on crude oil as well as the rupee is more or less stable now.
I believe so. So the price increase average for the year, we have taken 3.5% in all 3 price increases put together on our prices.
Right, Ms. Joshi, thanks a lot for joining us and giving us all those details. We wish you good luck for not just the next 2 quarters, but the long-term strategy that you have of growing 5 to 6% profitable volume growth.